see everything with new eyes. They meet their problems as they arise, and they arise daily. Their capacity for work is all but inexhaustible. If I hesitate to use the word heroic, it is because there are no heroics in this human record, only day-to-day doings, the facts of life. But again, facts that spread over into many dimensions, the extra dimensions that give the book its unusual quality, its brightness and its wisdom. For the attitude to life is positive. It somehow contrives to survive the frustrations, and that today is rare. Often, too, this is seen in coloured threads running through the main texture, as in the growing up of their child to school age and her responses to the myriad influences of the natural scene, or in the spontaneous help given by and to neighbours at difficult or critical times, the old communal warmth that survives the hazards or is there because of them. I commend this book to all those who are interested in such things and may have sometimes wondered if there is any meaning in the ancient notion of a way of life. Foreword to the second edition by Iona MacNichol. It is a great honour for me to be asked to introduce this reprint of A Croft in the Hills. The book gave me great delight when first it appeared. I treasure my copy, and I am happy that now many more readers may enjoy it too. I am myself of the old stock of Abrechin, the place where the author chose for her brave venture into crofting life. I have therefore the keener interest in it. But I know that through this book and through the Folk Museum, with which she has more recently been associated, Katharine Stewart has illuminated the crofting life not only of Arbrechin, but of the Highlands of Scotland. Chapter 1. Divine Discontent. We had both, since our earliest days, found it difficult to live in a city. Every free half-day or weekend, every summer holiday, had found us making for the nearest patch of country, anywhere where we could breathe and smell the earth and see the sky in great stretches instead of in tiny squares between the huddled rooftops. I shall always remember walking down Oxford Street during a wartime rush hour and finding myself nearly losing my footing among the crowd because my mind's eye was fixed on the rim of a steel-blue Highland loch, and I was smelling the scent of the bog myrtle and hearing the weird lonely cry of a drifting curlew. Jim, at that time, used to stand, during the brief spells of leisure his exacting job afforded, gazing through the huge plate-glass windows of his place of work and seeing, beyond the racketing crowd, an oasis very like the one I had wandered into. Later, we managed to make some sort of a compromise. We lived on the edge of the country, and he went off to work at an unearthly hour of the morning, clad in the respectable black coat and hat of the city worker, and shod with large hobnailed boots, which he changed on arrival, for the 2-mile walk to the bus. In the evenings I would go to meet him, and in still weather I would hear the ring of the hobnails on the road long before he came in sight. We had a garden, we had trees and the sky in stretches, we grew vegetables, we kept bees and hens and ducks. But the journeys to and from work were exhausting, though Jim would never admit it, and compromises are never really satisfactory. We were chafing against the tether. Then Jim's work took him to a small town in the north of Scotland. That was the end. City life is bad enough, but small town life is far worse. In a city one has at least the feeling that there are thousands of kindred spirits about, if one only knew them, folk just as dissatisfied as oneself with the mechanics of living, who know that it is not enough to have acquired some little skill or other which will enable one to make enough money to buy shelter and clothing and food, so that one may continue to employ one's skill so as to be able to go on buying shelter and clothing and food, and so on, ad infinitum. In a city there is at least a spark of the divine discontent, an only half-submerged longing to catch a glimpse of the larger design, but in a small town everyone seems so glad of the boundary wall. By this time our small daughter Helen was growing into a sturdy youngster. As I wandered hand in hand with her, back from the shops and along the row of trim villas to our home, I found my mind straying, as it had done years before in London, to some imagined remoteness. I pictured Helen splashing in a hill burn in summer, rolling like a young sheltie in the snow in winter, racing the wind on the moor, gazing at birds and minute creatures among the grass.